Hey friends, welcome back to my channel and happy Wednesday to everyone. I hope you all had a great weekend. So we're back today with another tutorial. This time we're going to be creating some pocket folios with our stash, and we're also going to utilize some party favor bags from the Dollar Tree. So I think this is a great project if you want to batch create. You can make quite a lot of these very quickly. There is just a couple of measurements you need to know, and the assembly is very fast and easy. So these have pockets on the inside that hold some journal size cards and some larger inserts in the pockets on the top as well. So this was a great holiday inspired project with my stash. If you would like to make one as well, then stick with me and we will make it together. Here's our bags from the Dollar Tree. This is a small selection of the colors that were available. They are smaller than a lunch size bag, and there are 8 in each package, so you'll be able to create a few projects out of each package. So I'm going to take that bag and fold it right along the top where the flap is, and then I'll take that to my guillotine cutter and cut it to be 5 3/4 inch high, and this will be the height of the book itself, and we'll have 2 pockets there. So for this project I have a piece of cardstock. It is 5 3/4 by 9 3/4, and then I'll have 2 of those bags. So this is going to be a great place for your 2 glue combo. Make sure to keep it in from the outside so the glue doesn't squeeze out, and that tape will hold all of that in place while the glue sets up. So I can bring my corners together here and make sure that this is lined up as best I can. There is an imperfect nature to folded things, so you may need to go back and do a little trimming to make sure that everything is going to line up perfectly. But once you get your bags in place there, you'll want to bring this to your scoreboard and line up the edge of the bag alongside one of the grooves in the board. This is going to give you a nice crisp crease on the spine, and so just turn that around and do the same process for the other side. Now I want to bring it back to my guillotine cutter and trim a little bit of that excess off. So I'll just line that up along where the cardstock is, and now I know that everything will line up perfectly. So for this book I do have 2 of these inserts, and I prepared one in advance. So we're back to our 2 glue combo, and so I'm just going to fold this along that score line to make sure that I can get everything lined up and everything has a good, clean, crisp crease on it. So I'll fold that and then determine which part of my book is going up, and then I'll line these up. So I did have a little trouble with the stickiness of that tape, but once I got everything lined up, it's pretty easy to adhere that. Just keeping your corners together and then bringing the sides along with it. Now I did press that just for a bit to get a good contact, and you can see how nice and wide that spine is. So we've got 2 sets of pages on the inside, and now we're going to cover that spine. I have a piece of cardstock here. It is 5 5/8 by 3/4 inches wide, and I glued that to a piece of 110-pound cardstock and inked around the edge. So this is a good time to add this now because you can get that flat on to the surface, and because we have 2 glues, you'll want to just give it a little bit of time for that glue to set up and give it a good pressure. This will make it much more sturdy. So for the inside, the measurements are very simple. You do want to finish the inside of the pocket before you seal it up so that you don't have any trouble getting the paper in behind there. So this is going to be 5 1/2 high by 4 1/2 wide, and that is for all of the pages on the inside. We're going to lose just a little bit of height because of that pocket fold in the bottom, and it won't show anyway if you don't cover that whole bit there because the pocket will hide it. You want to seal these pockets up now, and I'm just going back to my Tombow, a small line along the edge so that you don't take up any of the room in the pocket with the additional thicker double-sided adhesive tape. Give that a little pressure while it sets up. And now you want to cover the top of the pocket. I'm just using some offcuts from the cover, and this piece is 2.5 high by 4.5 wide, and I'll do the same process for this side as well. This is where you want to be careful with your glue so that it doesn't squish out and stick to anything that you don't want it to. But here is the companion page. They both match. I like them to coordinate, but you don't have to do that. If you're working with your stash and you have papers that are complementary, I say it would be better to use it than let it sit. And so if you have pages that work together, that's fine. I just like to coordinate in my book. And so I mentioned previously that this was going to be a great batch project. I think it would also be good as a takeaway project or a group project. You can have all of your pieces cut and then do an assembly while you're at a different location, or make all of the pieces at the same time and then do the assembly, because you don't have to do each step separately and then adhere them all together. You can do each one and then take them with you. So here are the pockets for the inside, and I'm just making sure to have a good contact for that. And here's our sturdy spine. I want to cover the back with another pattern, and this one is a little bit higher or taller because of the height of the book. So we're going to be at 5 5/8 inch high by 4.5 inch wide, and I'm just putting that on and pressing that into place with some double-sided adhesive. Here's my trim for this. It's a beautiful stitch satin ribbon from Really Reasonable Ribbon in a sherry color. It's very beautiful and it coordinates well with the collection. I'll just tack that in temporarily with a small bit of hot glue, and that will keep it in place. So that's going to be the end of the cover for now. I want to fill in a little bit of this book to make it easier to add my layering. So you'll see that our pockets are on the top, and I want to make this sturdier. So I have 110-pound cardstock. It's cut to be 5.5 inches high by 8.5 inches wide and scored at 8.25. And I'll just add some double-sided tape and fold that over on itself. There will be one for the front and the back, and then I've got a selection of the 4x6 cut apart images as well from that collection, and then some pattern paper that is cut 4x6. Also, this will give me lots of room for pictures and journaling. So the cardstock is going to go in the very front and the very back, and I'm positioning that all the way over to the edge so that I have a nice sturdy cover there. And then I'll just pick a couple for each of the top pockets. Now you can see why I have my book measured to be 5 3/4 so that our 6-inch insert will be easy to pull in and out. And so I'll just pick a selection for each of these pockets, and remember that the back page is going to have the sturdy cardstock again. So here is our last set, and you will notice how nice and thick this is already starting to get. It's much sturdier now. I also want to include some of the 4x3 cut aparts, and these were a great way to go through these. I often have lots of leftovers as I'm working through my collection, so this was a great way to add those. And the pockets are generously sized, so you can add additional keepsakes and flat mementos, and this is going to be the inside. Now it's much easier to work on the cover, and so I'm going to coordinate with the back. There is a layering pattern here. It just kind of brightens that up a little, and I'm just going to sandwich that beautiful trim in between the pattern paper and the base. I'll add a die cut doily next. This also helps to break up that busy paper pattern, and I'm positioning it almost to the top in the middle. Here's a die cut of one of the journal cards. Beautiful snowman image. I did add an eyelet and some twine, and I popped that up on a spacer. Here's my flowers. It's a combination of the magnolia from Really Reasonable Ribbon. There's some Little Birdie Craft, some netting and twine, and some die cut foliage. I also put on a little bit more of that trim that helps to fill in this arrangement and anchor it a little better for the bottom of this tag. The next thing I want to add are, of course, some charms, and I have these snowflake ones. I think it coordinates really well with our tag, so I just tied those with string and added them with hot glue. After I cut the excess string off, I'll just top that with a button, and that gives it a nice finished look. And the last detail for the cover is going to be these sequins, so I'm just going to add these with the Tombow, and I'll put one up on the tag itself and then one or two, I should say, on the doily. That brings it down to the first layer and gives it a little bit more dimension. So that's all for this book, and it will be very well secured with that beautiful trim wrapping around. So this was a very fun and easy project. I did manage to create an additional one off camera, and I just used that same set of measurements and the design, but I did switch it out for a different collection. So these are both from Echo Park, and one is My Favorite Christmas, and then the other is A Perfect Christmas. You can see that they are very complementary, and so you could use these together, I think, in the same book and get a very nice coordinated look. And so I just went ahead and finished that other book off camera, and I think that this is a good size for a documenting December. Lots of places to put your pictures and memories here. And so this actually was a piece of one of the strips. And so that made a nice detail for the pocket. And then you can see this is crossover a little between those collections. I have that plaid from the other book cover, and I use that for the inside of this book. So here's more of the inserts in the back and a fun candy cane pattern for my additional layering insert. And this is going to be a great gift, I think, if you have someone who would enjoy having pictures of your family and your memories that go along with it. So if you enjoyed this project and you want to see more from my channel, I suggest you head on over to our other series, Making Memories Monday. We are having a documenting October theme right now, and we are having a very casual craft with me style, so it's lots of fun to work on my book and have a chatty kind of work with me style video there. So that's it for our projects today. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. You can find links for our socials in the description below, and as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye.